Hello. Today I'm going to talk about anxiety. No, as I've told you before, I'm not a professional. I have been a counsellor and I have been involved in medicine through nursing. Anyway, what is anxiety? The overview: intense, excessive and persistent worry and fear. Symptoms can be fast heart rate, rapid breathing, sweating, being tired and exhausted. Medicine believes cause of anxiety is difficult experiences in childhood, adolescence or adulthood, and they're a common trigger for anxiety problems. Going through stress and trauma when you're young is very likely to have a particularly big impact. Experiences which can trigger anxiety problems include things like physical or emotional. I'll share my experience. I have anxiety. At the peak of my anxiousness, my blood pressure can get over 180 over 115, whereas normally it's about 130 over 90. I had an abusive, toxic childhood. I'm a survivor of incest, physical and emotional abuse. My father was a violent alcoholic addicted to gambling. He got worse as I got into my teens. In the 70s, even though I'm classified as a baby boomer, same as my parents, unlike my parents who probably went through the hippie movement of peace and love, we didn't. We had an influx of Vietnamese refugees. This is in Australia. And there were gangs. I was gang raped several times, and the first time I ran away from home at 14, 15, I was picked up by a young guy high on cocaine who took me down to the Brisbane River, and I thought this was the end for me, because at that time there were a lot of girls my age who had gone missing and murdered. Anyway, after he finished, he took me to a Yugoslavian club where a 60-year-old and a 32-year-old man raped me. Rapes continued into adulthood, with the last sexual violation 2019. I have been physically assaulted during my life, DVOs, and have had many death threats. I was wrongly jailed when I was 31 and bashed in jail because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I have lots of mental health issues: borderline personality disorder, PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, chronic fatigue, sleep paralysis, and that's a whole different subject, sleep paralysis. That's really scary, and anxiety. One may think, and I'm sorry that I have to read this because, again, I've written a lot of facts that I've Googled. Anyway, one may think with what's happened to me, no wonder I became a drug addict, but I dispute that. I chose, especially at the beginning, maybe in the end, to keep me numb, but my hell didn't cause me to use in the start. Anyway, there are 5 major types of anxiety disorders: generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, panic disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, social phobia or social anxiety disorder. Interestingly, my anxiety has 4 of these. That's the first 4 I mentioned. Mine can manifest in a number of ways, but say I have to do something at a certain time or a certain thing is about to happen, I start worrying, panicking, thinking what if, and they're usually negative, and my heart races, my thoughts race, I'm restless, jittery, shaky, and so on. I usually find by the time the so-called thing has passed, say I'm now on the bus, my symptoms calm down. My dog has anxiety. She hates loud noises, storms, heavy rain, and arguments. Now here's some facts. Anxiety disorders affect about 14 million American adults every year. 8% of teens aged 13 to 18 have an anxiety disorder, with symptoms starting around age 6. Women are twice as more likely to get anxiety than men. Let's listen to the music for a moment and just bring it down, because talking about anxiety makes me anxious. I wish I could. I'm going to turn you around a minute so you can see. Hopefully, I hope you got to see. I don't know, because this camera's facing me. It's my laptop camera, so I don't know if you got to see some peaceful nature. Anyway, continuing. Anxiety is the most common health condition in Australia. On average, 1 in 4 people, 1 in 3 women, and 1 in 5 men will experience anxiety at some stage in their life. In just 1 year, over 2 million Australians experience anxiety. There are 2 main treatments for anxiety disorders: psychotherapy and medications. I'm taking Valium. Anxiety is naturally a natural... let me repeat. I'm sorry. Anxiety is actually a natural part of the body, stemming from that flight or fight. It was useful once to be on edge for, say, predators, say warring tribes, but anxiety today is debilitating. It is not completely curable. After I've had my anxious or panic attack, I'm exhausted and I'm in pain. Everything in the human body is connected. For me, I get migraines, and psoriasis also are stress related. Let's listen to the music again before I continue. Oh, this is really pretty. I hope you can see this. That's presently on YouTube at the moment. Anyway, I like to end negativity with positivity, as you know. So what can we do? I'm only just learning. Previously it was me, and still at present it is to be prescribed Valium. I'm the one who has sought help, and I'm seeing a social worker, so I just started to understand. Important thing is triggers. Breathing. When that panic hits, and even now I'm anxious doing this video. So where was I? Breathing. When that panic hits, take a deep breath. Step back for a minute, and even if the worst happens, it's out of mine and your control. I think that's important. My anxiety occurs because things are out of my control. I've also been told meditation. That's why I've got this music on in the background and showed you some pictures. It's on YouTube at the moment. I don't mean to copyright or anything. I just wanted some nice music while I talk to you. Anyway, the other day I also saw on YouTube a video showing beautiful scenes of nature with calming music playing. I lost 2 hours and was peaceful. When I walk my dog, I'm not anxious. Hopefully in the future I will make a video on what helps, but now I'm only just getting professional help myself. Unlike my son, who has social anxiety and chronic fatigue, he self-isolates 12 hours a day, and I see him mentally deteriorating. So I know a few things. 1. Do not isolate. 2. Reach out for help. There's no weakness in that. 3. Connection is important. That's connection to people. 4, get out of the house. It's a prison. I know that. I've isolated. 5, start slowly. You can't expect to be better overnight. Now, as I'm going through the list, these are my things, okay? My things. Now, I'm not saying they're the right things. This is what I have learned. Number 6, breathe. Do you know, the funny thing is as I took that deep breath, I could feel myself relaxing and calming. I could feel myself changing. Anyway, number 7, think positively, avoid negativity. I tended to watch, say when I was coming down, no longer a drug addict, I was watching things about drug addiction, going to NA, and they were triggers for making me wanting to use. So avoidance of those things, okay? Number 8, music. Now maybe this music in the background isn't good for your anxiety. Maybe heavy metal is. For me, I actually like monks chanting or drums. So music. Number 9, meditate. Now, what is meditation? I'm still learning that. For some people it's prayer, others maybe it's just watching this video that's being played on YouTube right now with pretty water, beautiful flowers. Nature is so calming and relaxing, isn't it? Anyway, 10. The saying, worry is the interest you pay on tomorrow's troubles. 11. Self-care. Eat well. Good diet. Do you know, very interestingly, I've been watching a few videos about chronic fatigue, about this order, that order, and it all comes back to a diet. It all comes back to having a good diet. Apparently diet, and this makes sense to me, what we consume is what our nervous system, our whole body is consuming. That's what it's using. So if we're eating the wrong kind of foods, sugary foods and things which I'm guilty of, no wonder I'm jittery and everything. So anyway, self-care. I found baths are good and water healing. 12, exercise. I don't do enough exercise. But apparently again, exercise releases the endorphins that make us feel good. 13, if helpful, keep a journal, note triggers, and note behind the trigger, what was the thought? And perhaps try and change that thought. Thanks for listening. Look after yourself, take care of yourself, and reach out for help. The thing is, if you're just sitting there, like I said, my grief and loss, anxiety, chronic fatigue, whatever, you're just sitting there and you're isolating, you're going to get worse. It takes a lot of courage, I know, to reach out and say, I need help. But that shows you are strong. It doesn't show weakness. Please do this before you get worse. Anyway, I want to say thanks again for listening and love to you all. And I'll just sit here again and just show you this beautiful scenery just to end. I hope that calms you. Thank you to the YouTuber who put that on. Bye for now. See ya.